بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. So we left off after explaining the first verse. القلب أعلم يا عذول بدائه وأحق منك بجفنه وبمائه. So in this verse, this particular verse, the speaker addresses the adul, the reproacher, and the speaker asserts that the heart is the most aware of its own ailments, which is caused by love. In addition, the heart has the right to dictate the shedding of tears, bijafnihi wa bima'ihi, as the heart is the one that suffers. So in this particular verse, the poet establishes the heart's authority over any type of external judgment when it comes to matters of love. So in the second verse, we're going to see a shift in tone, where the poet states, فَوَمَنْ أُحِبُّ لَأَعْصِيَنَّكَ فِي الْهَوَى قَسَمًا بِهِ وَبِحُسْنِهِ وَبَهَائِهِ. So looking at the vocabulary, we can see that the word hub is used. Uhib meaning I love, connoting affection, preference, or inclination. Some possible synonyms include ahwa, which indicates passionate love or desire, or a'shiq, which denotes deep and often obsessive love. The next word that stands out is a'siyannak, or a'si. I shall disobey you. And a possible synonym includes khalafa, which is to oppose or to go against, or tamarrada, which is to rebel. The next word includes hawa, and as we can see that hawa is one of the synonyms that we mentioned for uhibbu. And so hawa indicates passionate love, desire, but it's often used with negative connotations like uncontrolled urges or uncontrolled opinions or beliefs. And some possible synonyms for this particular verse includes shahwa, which is lust or cravings, or raghba, which is the desire or the inclination. The next word is qasam, which is an oath or vow that made by Allah or His attributes. And a possible synonym is yameen, which is a solemn pledge, or ahd, which is a covenant. He goes on to use the word husn, or bihusnihi, by its beauty, referring to aesthetics or moral excellence. And possible synonyms include jamal, or baha. Jamal meaning beauty, often having physical connotations, and baha being splendor. The word haq is a typo. It shouldn't be there. And so the final word is baha. Baha meaning splendor, magnificence, or glory. And possible synonyms include rawnaq, which is splendor or radiance, or nur, which is light. So in this verse, the first thing that we notice is that it is a jumla al-fi'liya. And so the first verse, القلب أعلم يا عذول بدائه وحق منك بجفنه وبمائه, was a jumla ismiya, which connotes thabat. And this verse here, فَوَمَنْ أُحِبُّ لَأَعْصِيَنَّكَ فِي الْهَوَى, is a sentence that begins with a verb, الجملة الفعلية. And the jumla al-fi'liya, it indicates haraka, so this movement, or tajaddud, newness. And it indicates that there is some type of change that's taking place and it's being expressed either in the present, past, or future tense. So as we stated, the first verse, the speaker is addressing the adud, and he is asserting himself. He's asserting that the heart is the most aware of all ailments. This verse here, the speaker is defiant, and the type of language that we see him using is extremely, extremely defiant. The first sentence lays the foundation by validating the heart's autonomy in matters of love. And this particular verse builds on that validation and making extremely bold declarations of allegiance to love, showcasing emotional strength and resistance to any kind of pressure. So the first thing that we notice here is فَوَمَنْ أُحِبُّ. The fa being حرف الاستئناف لا محل له في الإعراب. The من is اسم موصول. أحب is فعل مضارع مرفوع. لأعصينك لام القسم. لام القسم أعصينك is فعل مضارع مبني على الفتح because of النون التوكيد الثقيلة. والكاف ضمير متصل في محل نصب مفعول به. فومن أحب لأعصينك في الهوى، في حرف جر، الهوى اسم مجرور. قسما به وبحسنه وبهائه. قسما مفعول مطلق، به حرف جر وضمير متصل، واو حرف عطف، بحسنه حرف جر، حسن اسم مجرور، مجرور بالباء. الهاء ضمير متصل، وبهائه حرف عطف، بهاء حرف الجر، وبهاء Bahaihi is majroor be the original or the first ba on bihusnihi. So the first thing that we notice is the fa in fawaman uhib. And the fa in this case here is the sababiyya, or it's used to express a result. A result of what? Result of the statement that preceded it. What is the statement that preceded it? It's an emphasis on the part of the poet who's laying the foundation and the validity of the heart's autonomy in the matters of love. So, because of this foundation, because of this validity, because of the fact that the heart is completely autonomous, he goes on to state, وَمَنْ أُحِبْ. So al-fa lets us know that he's bringing the ideas of the previous statement. And then he uses very, very emphatic language. So he's saying, as a result of this emphatic nature and the validity of the heart, which is a permanent reality that his sound mind yet emotional heart, as if he's pointing to it, has more knowledge than you about this strange torment of passion that the heart holds. And then he uses very extremely strong language, beginning with waw al-qasam, the waw that's used to swear. He uses this language which is the strongest method of emphasis is to swear by Allah. When one is trying to get someone to believe them, instead of making a statement, if one has any doubt about the truthfulness of that particular statement, the highest level of emphasis, the highest tool that one could use to get an individual to believe them, to let them know that this, what I'm going to say, is emphatically true, the highest form is to swear by Allah. And the poet used this waw al-qasam. And he's saying, فَوَمَنْ أُحِبْ لَأَعْصِيَنَّكَ فِي الْهَوَى. And instead of swearing by Allah, which is what Muslims do, this poet swears by man yuhib. And he makes this ma'rifah. So man uhib is supposed to be known by all of those who hear him. So he swears by a magnanimous thing. And what is that magnanimous thing? The one who I love. فَوَمَنْ أُحِبْ. I swear by this, the one who I love, who is one of the most magnanimous things ever created. I swear, لَأَعْصِيَنَّكَ فِي الْهَوَى. So we see in this particular verse that the poet not only uses the waw al-qasam, but he uses additional tools to magnify in the mind of anyone who listens that what he's saying is true and emphatic, that there's absolutely no doubt. So he uses waw al-qasam. And then he uses lam al-qasam in the form of لأعصينك. He also uses the present tense verb in the form of al-fi'l al-mudari'. And fi'l mudari' is used to connote something that happens over and over again, continuously. So as if he is saying, I swear over and over and over again, I swear by the one who I love. One of the most magnanimous things ever created. لأعصينك في الهوى. And then he also uses النون التوكيد الثقيلة. So we have 4 different types of tools of emphasis. The first is waw al-qasam. The second is lam al-qasam. The third is al-fi'l mudari'. And the fourth is النون التوكيد الثقيلة. Letting us know that this poet has reached the highest level of defiance, and letting us know that there is not much beyond what he used in terms of establishing emphasis and truthfulness. There are not many more tools that it's possible to use, and he used all of these 4 simultaneously. Not only did he use this particular form where he says فَوَمَنْ أُحِبُّ لَأَعْصِيَنَّكَ فِي الْهَوَى, he uses قَسَمًا, which is مفعول مطلق. So it's مفعول مطلق means that there is no limit to this qasam. There's no limit to the amount of swearing that he does. So he emphasizes continuously the magnitude of his defiance. And then he goes on to state, فَوَمَنْ أُحِبُّ لَأَعْصِيَنَّكَ فِي الْهَوَى قَسَمًا بِهِ. We see that he repeats the harf al-ba. So he says, قَسَمًا بِهِ. He brings back, he mentions again the one who he loves. So I swear by a magnanimous thing, which is the one who I love. I swear, and I constantly swear in the form of the present tense verb fi'l mudari'. And then he uses the al-maf'ul al-mutlaq, which lets us understand that there is no limit to the amount of swearing. Then he brings it back and says, qasaman bihi, swearing by the one who I love. Just in case you forgot who I'm swearing by. Qasaman bihi. And then he mentions some of the most endearing qualities of the thing that he loves, where he says, qasaman bihi wa bihusnihi, its beauty, wa baha'ihi, and its splendor and its magnificence. So we'll stop here today and we'll pick it up next class, explaining the next verse. أحبه وأحب فيه ملامة.